Good day, good friends, and welcome to another episode of The Comp Queen with me, Cassi DeHaas. How are you guys doing today? I hope fantastic. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm excited to be here. Hello, Mr. Dunn. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. Quick little introduction. Some housekeeping items. Sorry if you can hear Titus in the background, but Titus is in here with his mama today. Maybe he'll make an appearance later on if he's not being sleepy or if he starts being whiny. Just a quick little update. You know, we had some schedule was packed last week, so we definitely just skipped right over last week's episode and right into this one. So it's been 2 weeks. Well, not quite, because we did Thursday or Friday the week before. So maybe about 10, 12 days, something like that, since we've had an episode of The Comp Queen. And so I'm excited to be back. A lot of great things happening. Well, maybe it wasn't. Was that the week of Thanksgiving? I don't remember. Too many sleeps since then. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. And aloha from Hawaii. Callie, it's good to see you. Good to see you. I have a faithful Hawaiian supporter here. Happy to have you. Happy to see your face in my feed. Looking forward to pulling some Hawaii comps. So, 1-0. Yes. Oh my God, the comp queen. I love it. I love it. And I love Einstein. I even have, fun fact about Cassie, I even have a little stuffed Einstein stuffed animal that someone gifted me, aka I gifted myself, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, I do have like a lot of Einstein gifts. I have an epic handmade Einstein coffee cup. I've got wall posters and paintings and things like that. I used to have my whole little office decorated in like all things Einstein and cool quotes and stuff like that. So I've got the Einstein swag, so I love your profile picture there. Anyhow, so we'll dig into the episode. Just cool fun fact, I got to see my good friend Jamil Damji this past weekend at a holiday party. And, we were talking, he also did some comps, and we were talking appraisal rules, and it's just really fun and interesting. We have we're both very, very, very focused on comping like an appraiser and doing general appraisal rules. So as you guys may or may not know, I've been highly motivated to create like an appraisal calculator, right? But I don't ever want to like overcomplicate it, right? I just want like your appraisal rules, I wish that I could make the software, available to the general public, but there's obviously licenses and reasons that we are not able to do that, right? So, my approach, as well as my friend Jamil's approach, is we go in on appraisal rules, standard rule of thumb. So they're not necessarily hardcore black and white rules that apply to every single thing. And he very much just like rams it out in the first part of all of his episodes. And so yeah, I think that that's a really good approach. Jamil's like, instead of going, just beat it in their head at the beginning of every episode, like, you have to remember, guys, if it has, bedrooms and bathrooms, plus or minus, that's my rule, $10,000. Definitely half bathroom, plus or minus $5,000. Pool, plus or minus 10, some places 20. I gotta look at your comps on that. But you've got to really, really, really recognize that these are all factors. Basement space and finished attic space does not count as livable square footage, same price per square foot that you're gonna see. You've got to pay attention to those things in the comps. You want to comp like an appraiser, but you don't want to just pick the comps like an appraiser. You actually want to run the numbers like an appraiser, right, guys? So it's very important that these appraisal rules, you understand that when you're looking at the comps, right? You don't want to get yourself in a position where you're just running price per square foot and you're not paying attention to these things, or you pick the 3 highest comps, but they're all 200 square feet larger, because on an appraisal, you're going to get a reduction for that price per square foot. You're going to have if you're comping a larger property, they reduce the comp amount by that many square feet, right? So understand that when you're pulling comps, when I'm pointing those things out, I'm also reducing or adding. You want to pick the best 3 to 6 comps in your market, just because that are after repair value. If you're looking at a flip, you want to sincerely pay attention to not crossing over freeways, especially. You want to pay attention to your subdivisions that you're looking in. You want to pay attention to those build years, and you want to pick the most comparable properties. That is what an appraiser is going to be choosing. So you don't want to cherry pick your comps. You don't want to say the ARV is 300, but the repair budget's only going to be 20,000 if putting $20,000 into the property is not going to make it look like your blueprint properties, right? And you have to understand, even if you do have a perfect blueprint property, you still have to have at least 2 more. And usually I don't see a whole lot of comps that justify only having 3 comps on the appraisal, or too many appraisals, excuse me. So you have to keep those things in mind, you guys, when you're running numbers on a property. These aren't really necessarily appraisal rules, but you have to think and move like an appraiser when you're purchasing a house to flip it, right? Because you want that number that you're basing your profit and your game plan, I guess is the easiest way to say that. You want that to be accurate. You don't want to land yourself in a position where you're off on that number on the appraisal when you go to sell it. So knowing these things has made like a huge difference. Experiencing these things has made such a huge difference in all aspects of our business. So super important stuff, guys. I just wanted to throw that out there all at the beginning of the episode so that you have a baseline of general practices, aka appraisal rules, to go by. As I'm going through these episodes, you're going to hear me reference all of these things that I just spoke about. And like, if this is your first time joining us, write them the heck down if you don't already know them. I'm here for the experienced. I'm here for the somewhat experienced, and I'm here for the people that are new. So that being said, if you have properties you would like for me to comp, throw them in the feed there. I appreciate it, and I'm here for you guys. So preferences to comp your properties for you. If I can't do that, I will find some myself to use as examples. By all means, would prefer to be here directly for you, so you can see it happening live and in action on the show. So Steve H, I think I said hi from Boston. Mr. Brown, woo woo. My right hand guy right there. You ever comp land? Absolutely. Yes, we comp land. You got to be able to comp land to get an appraisal value on it. So, yep, sure do. Blessings from Minnesota. Thank you. I bet it's really cold there right now. Yeah. And the one and only Mr. RJ Bates III, my Viking partner. No one like him. On supporting. All right. So we've got our first one. You know, that address is looking awfully familiar. I would definitely say we've definitely done a deal on a Van Buren Avenue before. I just don't know if it's this same one. I don't have that memory like RJ does. His is crazy. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much for buying my coffee. That's right. This is for free. For free. Thank you so much for supporting me and the show. I'm definitely here for you guys, and I appreciate the coffee funds. They make a difference. They keep me going. So greatly appreciated. All right. Thank you, Kayali. Really, really do appreciate it. Jose Ventura, yes. Did I miss a comment from you up there? You were a Facebook user? Okay, so just so you guys know, good to see you, Jose. If you are on Facebook and you are not watching and you subscribe or whatever to StreamYard, then I can see who you are without you having to type in who you are. Otherwise, it just shows up as Facebook user when you comment. But yes, smash those like buttons for me, because I am giving you my brain and my time and my experience, and I am here for you to make sure that you have a resource. You know, these things are very important, and they're very pivotal for us when we gained this knowledge and experience in our business, and we were just beast mode at it, right? So just a little backstory, since I only have one to comp so far, and I can usually fit in 4+ in an episode depending on how difficult they are. So it's super funny. Like, we came from basically a general contracting background. We were general contractors, and then we started basically doing the work for flippers. And so we had that in and of itself was like a huge portion of why we were successful coming out of the gates. When we started getting into real estate investing, we started flipping ourselves, we started buying and holding and wholesaling, right? So we started out like that. Eventually I became a real estate agent here in the state of Texas, and we moved nationwide with our investing business as well. So not to mention, you know, the other things that we do, like our education program, you know, our social media, our media business, basically. That money. So all of that to say, the first like big hurdles for us. So we had the GC part down. We knew how to flip. We knew how to like estimate a rehab budget, right? The first one was like figuring out how we were going to find the properties, and RJ took the bull by the horns on that, right? And then I would say the second one is that deal analysis piece, right? And so that is our motivating factor in providing this show, is that, you know, the big pieces of information, like we are providing a resource for you to get information here, and it is for free. So that being said, I will go ahead and start the comping. Last thing I want to say while I'm pulling this address up, you guys, is in case you are new here, I think I got a couple of new friends that I see in the feeds, and I'm sure I'll have some that are not live, is that I like to showcase the tools that I use nationwide to comp. Now, clearly, in DFW, I use the MLS because I am an agent here on the board. But basically, anywhere outside of that, I am to use one or more of 3 tools. He says, "You're the champion. You're the champion." I will sing if you're not careful, 1-0. Yes, my partner is the champion. And by champion, he's more than just the king closer. He is the Viking wizard champion of the world. Mr. Holt, it's good to see your face, sir. Love it. Nationwide. I don't know if I can sing that without getting copyright problems. Oh, yeah. Okay, so back to it. Jordan, you got them comps? Bring them on, honey. Bring them on. I'm here for it. Let's go. All right, so as I was saying, I typically will use more than one of these tools myself. We do comp nationwide, right? Because we do business nationwide. So my first place that I go is what makes the most sense. We do our marketing in batch, so I go immediately right into the comps right here, right? Property details, comps, and I like to pull in more than one place. 9 times out of 10, I am going straight to looking at the street view immediately, right? I want to see what we're looking at. And right here, I don't immediately see my surroundings, okay? So 1909, 1824, 42, number of units 1. That gives me my basics that I need, right? I then immediately go to the street view. I want to see what our location may or may not tell us about our value. So first thing I notice is that 2 doors down, we have a church. Other than that, this is fairly straight up residential neighborhood. It's that church in and of itself doesn't actually scare me. I'll be honest with you, it's a little neighborhood cutie pie church. I mean, that one doesn't scare me, but normally speaking, it tells me something. But in this case, not so much. This is June 2019. Oh, if you guys can hear that, I'm very sorry. We definitely have a neighbor below us. So they're a bar and restaurant, and they are building something downstairs. So if you can hear that, apologies. If you can't hear that, just ignore me, and hopefully I'm louder than that. Holler if it causes problems, right? All right, so I really like to look at this map view. Goodness me. The street view on here. And I like to look at the overhead view, and I'll just tell you why. I know you heard me mention at the beginning of the show, one of the things I'm very cognizant of is proximity and neighborhoods, right? So, for example, if I were looking for my best set of comps, and I have a bunch to choose from within half a mile, and that means anywhere in here, I'm immediately looking by distance, okay? So understand that I'm pulling comps immediately. I am not necessarily looking in that whole mile for my best comps. This is a major road. This is a major road. I have 3 to 6 comps that are the closest that I am looking for, right? So first, I have 2 choices here. If I want 6 comps, okay? Here's my subject property. This, to me, is not a comp. And this is a mistake I see people making all of the time. That's a whole different barrel of monkeys over there. Now, I like to go broad. I like to consider the stability of this data that I have right here. Okay. This tells me on both sides of this road, we got stability. Both sides of this road, we have stability. This market and these price points are pretty stable and consistent, right? But I'm still, if I have comps to choose right here, that doesn't mean I'm going to choose 392. I don't see anything for 392 over here. In fact, my consistency exists in the 320 range, doesn't it? 338, that's not crossing a major road. So these are going to be my comps, straight up. And then I'm going to go verify. If I want to pick, now I'll be honest with y'all, a lot of times I don't pick more comps. I don't necessarily have to go straight for 6, but I can go ahead and broaden this when I don't have as many. If I don't have 6 right here, I can broaden it or just look across the street for consistent information. The market right here seems fairly consistent to me, right? But I can hit those filters. I can broaden it and see if I get a couple more right in here. I think I got one at 285, 340, 338, 345. I mean, these are fairly consistent. So then what I'm going to do is just go verify that these properties are similar to my property, right? I did not mean to do that, sorry. And another thing that I do, and I'm trying to show you all the quick way that I pull comps, right? So what I'm doing immediately from here is I've already got my street view pulled up, right? And I'm looking at this and saying, can I turn it into these, right? So I've selected my comps off of my map, and I'm going to go see if these are really our blueprint properties, right? So I'm going to look through the photos. I'm going to see what we're working with. Not seeing anything crazy. Y'all want to say hi? No? RJ came in here to take my little banner down because I forgot to, and it was in the way. So we have a hot tub here. Obviously, you want to look at the property details. One of the appraisal rules I don't think I actually remembered to mention or right at the beginning is a garage, plus or minus 10,000. Garages are important, especially in places of cold weather and snow and hail. If you're in Texas, you know what I'm saying. I don't want hail hitting my vehicle. So I am going to guess that my blueprint properties are super right on, right? So this is just me comping on batch. I would guess in this market, I would find very similar information. Anywhere else, you know what you've got to make the property look like. It's after repair, model, full market value. I mean, cute as a button. Hello, St. Paul, Minnesota. You are adorbs, right? I mean, yeah, we can turn our property into these properties. Perfect blueprint properties. I've looked at these two. I mean, I'm guessing that this one's right up there on Blair. Hello. You're so cute. Detached garage. I mean, something I'm seeing is the enclosed porches on both of them. Updated, remodeled, however you want to look at it. I don't have anything but photos on those first two, but I'm assuming anything for photos on those. But I do have photos. This is at the 3/1/13/88. I think that was recorded wrong. But again, we have a remodeled property. I mean, I'm seeing very consistent data here, right? Makes me feel pretty good. Detached garage, deck. I mean, all similar, right? So I feel really good about these numbers right here. I would go ahead and say I feel very solid. I mean, look at these square footages. If I'm an agent, I am probably listing this property. I want to look at it. Now, look at this. This is insane. This isn't even that updated, but it has a lot more square footage. So average price per square foot, and I'm feeling very consistent. You don't want to price yourself out of the market, right? These two on Van Buren, where are they on the map? They're way over here. I don't feel good about using them as comps. But these are all a lot smaller except for this one, and I don't have photos, right? I would run numbers on this as a 345 all day because you have more square footage. Okay? It's important for us to know that we have got a garage. So you go over here to the property details. 4.2 central detached garage, man. I'm at 345 all day, but I'm also probably listing this. If I flip this, I'm listing it for higher guaranteed. So if I do 2 4 times 18, 30, 24, that says 372. I ain't even gonna lie, y'all. I'm trying to list that sucker for 370. I'm not running my numbers on 370, but I'm trying to list it at 370 only because in this scenario, I don't love using our 370 comps that are way over here on Van Buren and Pascal. They're a different neighborhood that cross a major road, so I would look into that a lot more. You are definitely 345, in my opinion, is super conservative. And if I buy this and flip this, I'm listing it at 370 easy all day because of that square footage difference. And I would probably even, just to give you another example on the defaults, I would go in here and verify my information, right, on another system. So while that pulls up, give me just a minute. I've got your comp here. I'm writing that down, Callie. And I will do that one next. Miss Jessica, so good to see you, my dear. If you've got any comps, let's comp them, sister. You can see me do it live right on here instead of using the hotline. Moonay Lilo. Okay, so back to this. One of the things I do like to do is verify, right? So on the defaults, you will notice, and I'll point this out in most episodes, you have to be cognizant of the default settings when you just first pull the property up, what it's comping. That's why I went out a little bit broader to see if I could get some more on this side of the road just to solidify. Now, what you'll start to see is, look at how broad that square footage range is. It's only in half a mile. Those are the only defaults that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first default and just keep this at single family. Okay. I'm not really looking at multifamily as a potential exit strategy on this. This is a flip, baby. Baby. All right. So in our square footage range, one less bathroom automatically makes that at least $295, in my opinion. Some people would only put $5,000 for a bathroom, but dag-nabbit, and got the photos. I've got 1553 Blair here at 355. See, so that makes me bump that bottom number up. to 355. Notice it's a 5-bedroom, 1.5 bath, where we're a 4.2. So that to me evens out. Got a little bit more square footage, but I've got so much supporting evidence. Now, this is listed in distance, right? So let me just support and nip and tuck my ARV over here on PropStream so you guys can see the different tools, right? So this is property number 2, which is across the dang old street. So one of the things I'm going to look into, and I also did not select the build year over here on my defaults. So notice that's something I'm going to pay attention to over here because I didn't select that. And that could be the reason why this popped up on ours instead, our comps on here versus on batch. So see how many different subdivisions we have here? We don't have a single one in the same one. It's very hodgepodgey. And that's just because you'll see that a lot on older properties, at least on the continental US for my friends in Hawaii. So I look at it a little bit differently the way that I filter out here. I'm looking at these ones that are supporting what I found over on my other comp tool. That's really interesting. It's not something I saw. This is adorable. As a side note. I mean, I feel pretty stinking good about this, but I don't love that it's not necessarily supporting. So I'm going to hit instead of just public record MLS, I'm going to hit both. I'm going to go back and deselect. Notice when they're the same address. You want to be cognizant when they're the same address. We don't want to select it twice. So I'm picking that. Picking that. See how interesting it is that I have different sets of comps here? So my ARV is definitely higher from what I'm seeing in batch here on this comp in St. Paul. I have a much lower price per square foot, which is interesting and has something to do with, now you'll see that, you guys. So I want to explain something really fast as I go through these tools. This is the quintessential explanation and example, I guess is the better word. This is a quintessential example of why I like to use more than one tool. This does not lead me to believe that batch is always right and PropStream is always wrong, okay? That's not what I'm saying. There are times when I pull in both because I don't already know in my market. Like, for example, at one point in time, like there was only one place that we could pull comps in Anchorage, Alaska, and that was on PropStream. And even them, we had to go verify them on the internet. You know, they would pull funky. This has to do with their availability to get data imported into these softwares, I guess is the easiest way to explain it. So for a long period of time, you know, before Batch came out with a comp tool, which is, I think it was released to the public maybe a year ago. And they have made it over the past year so incredibly badass to where it's like my favorite. I did say it. I finally said it. But I'm very, very, very attached to using PropStream and Propelio as well. I have been using PropStream, and RJ had been using Propelio more prior to Batch coming out. But for me, I would always check them both. Lately, and I want to look, we're having some issues with Propelio. I will show you what those issues are. yeah, I hate to say this, and I'm not being ugly, but I know that there's something going on with they're changing their nationwide broker. I can still pull comps in some places, but I'm moving away from using it lately. Now you'll see people that only use Propelio. It's Texas based and it's on point, and I love Propelio, but I don't get to showcase it as much on here lately because there's something going on. And so if you see me get a Texas property, I will show you all Propelio, and I keep typing them in other markets, but we used to be able to pull comps in a lot of other markets on Propelio, and we can't right now. And so I don't get to showcase it as much. And I'm just going to be honest. If you're in a market and you don't know if you can get them right now, I'm not going to tell you to go get Propelio if you're not going to be in certain markets where it's working. And that's unfortunate for me to have to say, but I don't want to be disingenuous about it. And I'm not talking smack about anybody or any product on here. I love Propelio, but right now I can't encourage somebody in St. Paul, Minnesota that it's going to be a good tool for them. This being the prime example. So when it comes to PropStream, before Batch came out with their comping tool, and even for a while they were, what's the best way? They were like ramping it up. They were just making it super badass is the best way to put it. There would be some markets I could only find in PropStream, like in Iowa. And lately, I feel like the tides have turned over the past couple of months. A lot of the upgrades, they just continue to upgrade their comp tool. So I've been heavily using batch comping and PropStream comping because I just always verify. And this is a prime example of why I have two of them. We are nationwide. We do go everywhere. And I still run across places where I'm pulling my comps and they're, I'll hit markets. I mean, I pull so many comps every day in my life, y'all. It's not even funny. And I love it. That is not a complaint. But I have a really, really good grasp on these tools. And I do like to showcase them all. But this is a prime example of why you verify these things. If you do not have MLS access and you don't need it, I mean, we do it all over the place. But if you do not and you get conflicting comps, then that is the voice of the Viking wizard you hear in the background. So I just want you guys to understand the why I utilize these tools, and I want you to showcase. I want you to see what it looks like in the markets where you're working. If you're pulling comps in St. Paul, this is an example of I think it's good for you to look at both. I had a perfect comp on PropStream that didn't pop up on Batch. And that's okay because I have perfect comps on Batch, but I still look at it all. Yes, I am looking out for you guys. That's the point of the show. So let's go back. I don't remember whose comp this is. Juanero. I'm putting a solid, honey, run the numbers at 255, but expect to list it at 270. I'm going for it. It's not gonna. That's another thing. If you're like $5,000 off on your ARV on your initial offer, it's not going to kill you because you're running numbers for profit, right? Anyways, I digress. Hopefully you can list this higher if you're flipping this house. But I say a conservative 355, right? All right. So next comp I'm gonna look at is in the great state of Hawaii. And I'm excited about this one because, Callie, to your point, I am looking out for you, honey. That is why I am here. And so I want to comp in a place like Hawaii because I want to showcase my tools. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Luna Lilo. Where you at, girl? Luna Lilo, not Luna Lila. Oh, man. Oh, my honey. You might have to show me which one we're looking at here, Kelly. Oh, while I'm looking for this, let me make one more point, 10. Are you wholesaling it? Are you purchasing it for a flip? I'm assuming, unless you're getting a hell of a deal on it, you're not purchasing it for a rental. Oh, you said home road. Never mind. You don't have to help me. Callie, I just didn't write home road down when I found it, or when I wrote it down. All right, sorry. 10. It depends on if you are you're looking at whatever exit strategy. Just to be clear, I don't know what current condition of the house is on this. I don't know like what rehab numbers you're putting in, but assuming you're fully flipping the house and turning it into one of those are the numbers. Blueprint properties, just to be clear. Yeah, if you're looking at flipping it, I would run my numbers based on a $355 dispo or list price, but definitely plan to list higher, especially in St. Paul. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so back to Hawaii, where the Aloha spirit was born and lives. Keali, did you look up Tavana yet? Please say yes. If you didn't, promise me if I comp this for you, you will. Tavana. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, everybody that's watching, if you don't know that man's name, look him up on your Spotify or your YouTube. Oh, poopadoo. That's not what I meant to do. You did? Oh, your song choice. I want you to tell me what your favorite song is by next week. Mine is will always be Mystery. It is literally my very favorite. Hey, hold on 1 second. Hey guys, can you come shut this door for me? Sorry, didn't mean to yell that into my life. Elijah just decided to barrel in here and he has trouble shutting doors behind him. So my whole team in the background, all I could hear is chatter, and I know y'all got all kinds of background noise. All kinds of background noise hearing today. And my boy Titus is oh my God, y'all. I mean, I'm just gonna do this. Don't be mad at me, okay? RJ might get mad from this, but look at him. Always the background noise. Always the background noise over there being mommy's perfect little angel, okay? And then I got my partners in here barreling through on the phone, leaving the doors open. Crazy men. All right, so what are 1969, 11, 28, 3, 2 in the great state of Hawaii? All right, so One of the things about Hawaii that I've mentioned before is you got to pay attention to those water and mountain views. You will see a lot of this. This is a little bit more of an example of that from properties I've comped on this show for you in the past, Callie. From what I can tell, anyhow. So I think we've got some really good examples right here. And it's really important that we are cognizant of these other lots. Now, why we have 65 comps in the past year within half a mile, that does not feel right to me. I don't even see that many on the map. Do you? I mean, do you? Something ain't right. So what we want to do is look at these first couple properties right here. If we're looking on PropStream, we want to be cognizant of that. Oh, that's why we got 8 billion condos. Good gravy. No wonder. I'm losing my dang old mind, y'all. That helps a lot, doesn't it? Okay, so one of my favorite things, one of these things is not like the other, and I'm thinking these are going to have some better views. What do you guys think? So we've got to determine if those views are the same as our views. Property number 4, I'm assuming, looks into, don't let me butcher this, Hanama Bay. I'm assuming that that's gonna, or has access, right? Property number 5. Do we got some amazing mountain views? What's up with property number 5? Those are the things I'm looking at. Property number 3. Is this a short little walk to some bay views? Now what's interesting is property number 4 here. It's got to have some amazing mountain views. Across 72 here. That's going to be my guess. So I'm going to want to really look into those photos, right? Super important. Super important. So let's just X out of this. And like you guys can see, when you see some stuff like this right here, you know, like this property is going to have some insane views. I mean, just look at the street view, okay? That's the street view. That isn't even the real estate photographer doing shit. Hawaii is so crazy. Let's do this one. Now, you can't see as much from the street view here, but I guarantee you that has some insane views. These are selling for higher right here. Like, look at this common denominator. Like, look at it in proximity to some views. Okay? Now, my guess is all of these that are showing this have got some views to some good stuff, right? The only one that makes me wonder is this one that's listed and active. So I am going to look into legitimately all of these. Now, I don't really want to look into this property over here on the bay that sold for $1 million because that's just not even a comp for me. I'm probably not even going to look at these necessarily. So I'm just going to not look at 6307 right there. I'm just going to look into these. I'm going to go a little bit broader on these build years. Sold in the last 12 months. Property class, I'm keeping it residential. I'm keeping it single family. That is an automated filter that Batch does for you. And I'm going to just look a little bit broader because I want I want to see what we get right here. If we get anything else, I want us to just get some supporting evidence. So the reason why is because I have this interior lot right here versus this exterior with this kind of what view is going on here. Can you view the bay and the mountain? Because that makes a dang old big difference. Okay, so that being said, let's start looking into the comps themselves. Let's see what we got. Beautiful property. My goodness. My goodness. Gosh, I love Hawaii properties. Okay, so this little courtyard and outdoor living area / dining area is pretty clutch. Hawaiians like these spaces a lot. Like they're pretty much vital to their existence, not just like, I mean, think about it. The weather out there, the views out there, the everything out there. I'm not a does the boat come with the property? Are they trying to make a statement? But everything is touched here. Everything is beautifully remodeled. This is a very solid remodel. I mean, I'm just saying, you guys, this is the ideal Hawaiian home, right? What is interesting to me is I don't see why can't I where are you at? All right, I don't see, I'm gonna pull up that properties detail page. Is this 353? So look at this, 145. This is, well, I thought it's a different price. So I'm gonna pull the property details page up on both PropStream and Batch on this because I want to understand what the listing said. God, they put a lot down on that. A lot down on it. Let's get these MLS details. Situated on a very large lot. Very well landscaped. That is important there. Recently renovated. Everything's new, including the Pella windows. Front yard is big enough to park a boat, and backyard features beautiful, close walking distance to Coco Marina, shops, and restaurants. It has a mango tree. What's crazy is this sold for $1 million or 1.45. We've really got to look at our street view at this point, right? And just to be clear, there are times like this I'm confirming sometimes with our agent, right? I'm going to also defer to an agent on properties that I'm like, can I sell this for $1 million or can I sell this for 800? I need to know. It's like super important. I don't feel like that is a good comp for us. I'm just being straight up. Let's go look at this street view of this comp. Just to be sure. I know y'all think I'm crazy from just this street view, but I don't. I definitely don't think we should be aiming to do that price. This just does have like better views, guaranteed, than this. But maybe not. Shit. Ugh, this is why Hawaii properties stress me out that are like this. This is why I always defer to an agent. Okay, so we need some better supporting evidence is the facts right here. So we got to keep digging. I ain't even gonna keep that open right there. And I don't have photos attached to these others, so I'm gonna go back over here and try to see if I have no photos of any of these suckers. So what I would have to do at this point, if I use that as a comp, let's try to look and see, is this that different? Let's see if we can find photos on like the random interwebs to see if these can, if this, I mean, when you look at photos of this after the remodel, it doesn't feel an awful lot like we're going to be able to hit that mark when you look at the street view of ours. But again, like when I look at the street view and I think about all the repairs that you can do, I can't say that for sure. You know what I mean? Okay. I meant to actually pull up the street or the Google search of this and see if I can find any photos on here, which I can. In some random places like this is important, you guys. If this property sold for 1.1, all right, so Kiali, what I need you to determine is two things. To be very specific. See this property right here? I got to see if this property is sold in distress. Is this an as-is comp? Because I am not seeing a huge difference in the views in the neighborhood, and I'm seeing properties going everywhere from 500, 680, all the way up to almost dang near 1.5 million, right? So we've got to try to figure out if this is just, if it's just got no views, if this sold on the market as like a not updated property. I mean, look at all of these. Look at all these. It's crazy. If I select all of them, oh crap, what did I do? If I selected all of them, it's just not doing it on my live for some reason. So like, if I do this, I mean, we're easily in 1 million, but you've got to make sure that's safe to say. I don't feel like you should include this $1.8 million, but I don't also feel like you shouldn't include the 900s. And then I would just confirm like conservative 900. But I'm going to literally have to go and look on the internet for each and every one of these, right? I'm assuming these lower priced ones, when I'm looking at these street views, just aren't remodeled. I don't think like one of these things is not like the other. That also applies to, this is very likely with that view from the backyard, a distressed property or has the tiniest lot known to man. So we've got a much larger lot. You might want to deselect those. These have much larger lots down here. Notice I hadn't selected those. I would probably deselect this, assuming that it is a distressed property for the 680. And I would go confirm photos on the rest of these. And a very, very, very conservative 1 million and potentially 1-1. I mean, you could technically safely say that that was the outlier and you're still at 1 million. You could say these needed a little more updating. You're still at 1 million. So 1 million's safe to me. So that being said, I would absolutely, if you guys get into a market that's like that, where it's not easy to access, and I'm not going to go through and confirm and look for listing photos for all the history of time, like on this show, just because, well, I would pop those up very quickly and then go boop, 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 boop. On my computer just to confirm it. And that's what I would like Kaylee to do, just to confirm those. I'm going to run my initial set of numbers right off of, 1,050,000, right? Obviously, if you really go all out, and that's one thing I really want to point out, is that property that sold at 1.3, that was decked out. And in Hawaii, you don't actually have to always go all out like that to sell a property at $1 million. If it's clean and updated, it doesn't have to be like design worthy, like of a magazine in some of these neighborhoods. And that also like had a huge lot, right? So I mentioned when I first started looking at that property that, there's market specific things that I want to confirm in photos of listings. And when I can't find them, I definitely will go on Google and search for the past listing photos. I don't know why. It's technically, I know that it's because of the way Hawaii does their MLS. So you kind of like have markets other than Hawaii that do this as well, where it's just like, it's so obnoxious, but you have to like literally go to like the Redfins and the Zillows and the shit like that to look for the past photos. And it's super annoying, but it's just is what it is. But when you're dealing with like $1 million property, you definitely want to confirm. And I would go look for those photos on the internet, and you'll probably find that what you're going to see is like that one was super decked out and it had a much bigger lot. And what did I say at the beginning? People in Hawaii love their outdoor spaces. You definitely having indoor outdoor space. So spaces that are like you can live and lounge and be outdoors, be in nature, see the beautiful views. Like that's one of the best things about living in Hawaii. Their weather is always beautiful. I don't even think they have mosquitoes or spiders or snakes. It's just like, what? So living in the middle of the ocean has its benefits, right? Aside from just like views. But point being that it has, you do want to confirm on those views, but I'm guessing like that 1,050,000 is a very safe number to assume that this property would comp at. And as you guys can see, it takes a little bit longer to dig into these properties that are like this. Kaylee had a couple of properties in Hawaii, which are actually is usually more the exception in my experience, and it could just be the type of properties that we happen to come across from what we do. But I don't see very many cookie cutter neighborhoods, and he's had some pretty easy ones to comp in Hawaii until this one. So this is what I see. This is what I'm usually comping, because I'm have to verify, like, why did this one sell at 680 and why did this one sell at $1 million? And I've got to be sure of that, and so anyways, point being, you want to always make sure that you're confirming with photos and things like that. And unfortunately, on this particular property, I didn't have a lot to show you. So that's what I would make sure I go do. That being said, I am going to go place a call for a job interview here at Titanium Investments for a position we're trying to fill. And I am going to give this episode an end after an hour. This is going to be my shortest Calm Clean episode yet. So I feel like I just need to say a lot more things. But an hour is where we're ending it today, guys. So I appreciate you guys. I will be here next Wednesday at 3, pending nothing crazy pops up. If you guys don't mind too terribly much, make sure you hit that like button. And I hope that anybody that wasn't able to make the live today is able to catch this on the replay. Will be posted on our YouTube if you're not watching on YouTube. So that being said, I will see you guys next week, and I appreciate you for showing up.